Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Time About the Movies. And we're not even talking about St. Patrick's Day 1989. We're talking about April 28th, 1989. And, weekend that has a lot of copycat movies. You know, movies that look similar to another movie, a more superior movie than the ones that we have here. Case in point with our first movie. This was the year where we had two movies with a comedic actor and a dog as police officers. Here's that movie, K-9, with James Belushi. You know, Jim Belushi gets kind of a bad rap because obviously he's not as good as his brother John Belushi, but I don't think he's that bad of a comedic actor. I think he can be really funny. If you ever watch him on SNL, he's very good at he has been very funny on that show. And there have been some other times where I've actually liked him as an actor. He's definitely not John Belushi though, and I don't know if even John Belushi could probably make this work. I mean, this movie's not bad. There's just really nothing about it that makes it stand out, really. I mean, especially when you consider that a far superior movie about a cop and a dog working together came out later this summer with Turner and Hooch. But for what this is, it's passable. It has some funny moments once or twice, but nothing really to make it stand out on its own. So overall, I thought it was alright, but nothing too spectacular, so let's move on to the next movie, Gary Oldman and Kevin Bacon in Criminal Law. Directed by Martin Campbell, who would later go on to revitalize the James Bond franchise twice, as well as Zorro, and featuring Gary Oldman looking like Timothy Hutton, but, I mean, yeah, I haven't seen this movie before. This is actually my first time knowing that it even existed because I saw that Gary Oldman and Kevin Bacon were in it. And this was right when Gary Oldman's popularity was beginning to peak after he starred in such films as Sid and Nancy and Prick Up Your Ears. But looks just basically kind of like a generic crime thriller. And I think a movie like Primal Fear actually did this a lot better, just about 7 years later with Richard Gere and Edward Norton. But yeah, from what I see here, it's got some potential. It looks like the acting could probably save it from being a generic movie, but above a generic crime thriller. But overall, it doesn't look like anything too spectacular or anything. I probably won't rush out to see this one, but like I said, it doesn't look too bad. So let's move on to the next movie. So it's basically a generic porno movie, except there's no porn in here. I mean, that's pretty much what this looks like. Loverboy with Patrick Dempsey, then coming off of Can't Buy Me Love. You also have Carrie Fisher, Kate Jackson, and Kirstie Alley in here. And like I said, it looks like they take the concept of a generic porn flick where you have it with the sexy lady ordering a pizza from somebody, and turns out they have a love affair. They just took the sex out, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's like more mainstream. Like I said, I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it, but it looks kind of generic. It looks like kind of a mediocre movie. And this poster and this trailer make Patrick Dempsey look way too younger than the women that he's sleeping with. I mean, he was only 23 when this movie came out, so it makes sense, but I don't know, it looks weird. It looks weird, like it doesn't click right, in my opinion, so that's just my thinking on it, so that's Loverboy. So anyway, on to the next movie. And remember I said we had duplicate movies, a couple of them coming out this weekend of other movies that came out later in the year. Here's what we got before Shocker, The Horror Show. Shocker, I think, did this kind of better. Shocker wasn't that great of a movie, but at least Shocker had Wes Craven behind it. At least he had an idea of what he was trying to do with this concept of a convicted killer returning from the dead. This just looks silly after watching this trailer. It looks like a really silly movie. Not up to my speed, so yeah, just skip that one. Just watch Shocker. We'll talk about that when we get to that one down the road later in the year. Anyway, on to the next movie. Can't really comment on this one because I've never heard of it before, but it's got a decent cast to it. John Hurt, Joanne Whalley, Ian McKellen, Bridget Fonda. Directed by Michael Canton-Jones. It looks promising enough. That's all I got on that one. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen it before, so I can't really comment on it. So let's go ahead and move on to the last movie, and the last movie is Miss Firecracker, starring Holly Hunter. So yeah, you got a pretty good cast in this. Holly Hunter, of course, can usually do no wrong. Scott Glenn, Mary Steenburgen, Tim Robbins, Alfre Woodard. This is directed by Thomas Schlam, who his film track record is not as good, but his TV track record is amazing. This is a guy that directed several episodes of The West Wing. He also directed several episodes of other TV shows. Does a lot of work with Aaron Sorkin. He did a lot of work on Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip and Sports Night. Also did The Americans, Alan McBeal, Friends, ER. Just a great track record with this guy. And this movie itself looks pretty promising enough. Like I said, his track record as a film director is not the greatest, but this looks pretty promising. Like I said, I really like Holly Hunter. I like a lot of her movies that she's in. I think she usually does give 110% with every movie that she's in, no matter how bad the movie is. And this looks like no exception. This looks like a movie that definitely looks like she's really into this role. And like I said, this has a good cast to it. The writer of this also wrote the script for Places in the Heart, which won Sally Field the Oscar a few years back. But like I said, I haven't seen it before, but it looks promising enough. It looks pretty interesting. That's my quick thoughts on that one. So Miss Firecracker looks promising enough. Might check it out someday. And with that said, we wrap up the month of April as we jump into the month of May next time around. But you have to remember, this is before the summer movie season really kicked off, so it's not going to be as exciting as usual. As usually the first weekend of May is. We only got 2 movies to look at. I see right here. So we'll see what we can do. We'll work around that. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, if you like what you see here, go ahead and check out the playlist on the next page. Check out a previous episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another new episode. So until then, take care.